Hello everyone, I've got a little video for you today and I am testing a fragrance I've got a sample of. It's receiving quite a lot of love. Well, I've seen a few reviews of people that are really loving it, and that fragrance is the Harmonist Moon. Is it Moon Bloom? No, it's not. It's Moon Glory. Not Morning Glory, not Afternoon Glory, but Moon Glory. Can you hear Sweetie purring? I know lots of you love Sweetie, so I thought I'd put her in the video. Excuse my face today, no makeup. My skin had a flare up the other day, an allergic reaction, and it came up all spotty. You can still see remnants of it. But now it's all kind of like dried into almost like a skin. So it's almost like I'm a snake shedding my skin, especially around my mouth. You see my nose is really red. And so I have had to put oil and moisturizer on my face. It's very shiny because otherwise it's a really thick, flaky, dead skin. It's lovely. So there we go. So we are wearing Moon, did we say Moon Glory? Yes, we did. We're wearing Moon Glory today. I've just put it on my wrist, which is holding the camera, and I'm going to spray it here now. So I first heard about this fragrance. Well, actually, no, it's story time. Let's get comfortable. So this fragrance I heard about from my fragrant friend Jimbo, aka DC Jim R. He comments on my videos, and I'm in a group chat with him, and he's an all-round lovely fellow, and we share quite similar fragrance what's the word, fragrance taste. So Jim mentioned this Moon Glory that he'd fallen in love with, and he was, I think he was kind of slightly upset at how expensive it was, but I believe he bought it, and he mentioned it to me, and I looked up the notes and I was obsessed. So I don't know what the notes are anymore, I can't remember, but there's frangipani, which is one of my favourite floral notes, and it just sounded perfect. There's almost certainly vanilla in here, so it just sounded amazing. And then I saw a couple of reviews on YouTube. I read the reviews on Fragrantica and became a bit obsessed. I was trying to track down a sample. I did even get in touch with the brand to see if they would consider sending me a sample. They didn't reply. Then the weirdest thing happened is I actually found that I already had a sample. So I went in my drawer, my sample drawer, looking for something else, and there it was, and I was like, what? And then I remembered one of my fragrance friends who we'd done a couple of swaps together, and she'd actually sent me this and something else quite recently, but I hadn't paid any attention, and I just filed it in the drawer to look at later. So I already had the sample, and I smelled it at the time, and I was slightly underwhelmed. It wasn't quite what I expected, I guess. I don't know why. So we're wearing it today, and we're going to see what I think of it. I don't know what the price is. I'm going to look that up, and that I think it is important to talk about the value of a fragrance. So we'll look that up, but I understand it is an expensive brand. So on first impressions, see, my face is still a little bit itchy as well, but I mean, it's mostly sorted. On first impressions, it's a beach type scent. It's if you like beachy scents, so the mono oil smell, which is the vanilla and frangipani usually, although it can be jasmine, tuberose, ylang ylang. All those exotic florals usually make up that mono oil smell, and this has that smell. So it smells quite sweet. It's a sweet white floral with vanilla. Does it smell unique? No. Do you know what it smells like? Now, I have only smelt this briefly a long time ago, but Maison Margiela have in their black bottles, which are slightly more expensive. I think that's a sweetie hair in my mouth. My face is still itching. This is not the most professional video you'll see from me, but actually it's probably not the worst either. So let's change hands. So yeah, where were we? Maison Margiela have a fragrance called Dancing on the Moon. Interesting that it's got a similar name. So we've got Moon Glory that I'm testing today. Maison Margiela have one called Dancing on the Moon. They actually released that in 2016. I couldn't see who the perfumer was on Fragrantica. I don't know if the information is out there, maybe on their own website. So I wanted to compare the perfumers because the fragrance smells very similar to what I remember Dancing on the Moon smelled like, but please be aware that I'm going from memory. So it's quite possible that they're not that similar at all, and I'm certainly not accusing anyone of copying them, but just something to keep in mind. If you love this fragrance and it's out of your budget, Margiela fragrances are a lot cheaper, and these black bottles go for just over the £100 mark from what I saw a quick Google search just now. So, and that's 100 mils as well, so good value in the Maison Margielas. So let's go back to the scent. Yeah, it's a beautiful floral vanilla. It's a little bit uplifting, so I'm not sure if there's citrus. I don't know if I'm specifically picking out citrus. I think there probably is. I believe there's going to be a little bit of citrus because it's giving it a lift, but it's not smelling citrusy, if that makes sense. It might maybe even have something like orange blossom or, you know, lemon blossom, you know, because they can carry some of the scent of the fruit as well as the floral. So it's almost a bit sugary. So it smells, it has got that kind of saccharine, sweet, sugary sort of vanilla smell. Almost, oh, there's something unusual in here. What is that? It's like it's not coffee. There is something unusual in here that's making it different to some other beachy scents that you might know. How do I pinpoint what it is? I don't know. It's almost like a strawberry milkshake. Not really, but it's something. Maybe there's a milky accord. So I think it's a bit lactonic. Yeah. Do you know what I'm thinking? Frothed up milk, heated up milk. Not necessarily any flavouring, but if you know how milk can, when you heat milk up, it does have a little bit of a sweetness to it, and it just has that kind of creamy smell, doesn't it? Milk has a smell. I'm getting that. So take your tropical flowers, take your frangipani, maybe some jasmine, maybe a little tiny bit of tuberose, not sure, maybe some orange blossom, and put them in a nice pretty jug, fill it up with milk, and then put it in your give it a steam up, you know, with your coffee machine. Steam up the milk and let all the florals macerate in the hot milk, and just give off this milky floral pungent, not pungent because that's not a nice word, but quite a punchy scent, I guess. Yeah, it's milky. That's what it is. Milky floral. Anyway, that will do for now. We'll come back with some more in a little bit. A little bit more sweetie action for you. I've decided to do a comparison, so I've just sprayed on my other wrist Musicology's Sun Goddess, because this has this has similar notes. So we have orange Blossom Absolute, Frangipani, Jasmine, Heliotrope, Sandalwood and Vanilla. So this will be a similar, it's going to be another beachy kind of scent. It's called Sun Goddess. So I've got moon on one wrist, sun on the other. And I'll just include a little bit of a review about this one and a comparison, just because they're both in the same vein. And I've been wanting to look into this one a little bit more because it is very pretty. I really like it. So a little update, we're 4.5 hours in. I've been for a shop, went to get the last of my Christmas food. So that's done, it wasn't too horrendous. And I was catching whiffs in the car coming up from my neck of the Moon Glory. Whilst walking around the shopping area, I had to have a mask on, so I wasn't really catching the fragrance then. But as soon as I got back to my car, I could smell it. And I would say it kind of stays the same for quite a few hours. There's no major changes. The florals are waxy and thick, they're oily, they're rich. And that milkiness stays for a fair amount of time. First, I'd say it hangs around for sort of 2 to 3 hours, that creamy, milky note. And then what I'm noticing now, the projection's a lot lighter. I can't really pick it up if I'm still, however. If I move around a little bit, if I shake it all about, then I catch little whiffs of it. It's stuck to my jumper, and I'll tell you why I know. It's because it's different on my wrist. So my wrist has lost most of the floralness now. I'm not really picking up any of the floral. There might be a hint of it in there, but mostly it's a very woody fragrance now, and it's the sandalwood. I'm pretty sure there's sandalwood in here, and it's mostly kind of like, it smells a bit like an incense, an unflavoured incense stick. So not one that's also got a floral element, just a fairly plain incense and sandalwood, a little bit of creaminess, but none of that milk note. It's just got a creamy texture, but it's also got it's not just pure smooth. There's a kind of grit from the sandalwood. Sandalwood can have a little bit of a texture to it. So it's not pure, smooth, creamy sandalwood. This is kind of got a slightly dusty texture to it. So that's mostly what I've got from Moon Glory. I don't anticipate it's going to do much more. It feels like it's dying. Now the Musicology Sun Goddess, I think it's Sun Goddess. The Musicology one is a fresher, it's definitely a different kind of perfume. It's in the beachy, they're both beachy, but they are different enough that you could justify owning both for sure. The Musicology is more of a summer's day kind of fragrance. It's much fresher. It's a fresh floral scent. Feels citrusy. The florals aren't as waxy and thick. They're lighter, they're fresher. Same vibe, same exotic floral feel, but just not fat, waxy, thick leaves like the Moon Glory. This one is lighter, more like catching the flowers on a breeze. There's also a woody base here, possibly another sandalwood base. It wouldn't surprise me. The Musicology has kept its floralcy, whereas the Moon Glory has lost it, but the florals are different, as I say. Also, I'd say the Musicology is starting to get a little bit more vanilla-y, as well as feeling like there's some sandalwood coming through and still some fresh floral. I feel like the Musicology is better performing. It seems to be stronger. And as I say, I've really lost the florals from Moon Glory already. But as I say, also, where it's stuck to my clothes, I can still smell the florals on my jumper. because perfume on clothes or perfume on anything that's not warm, like not skin, will have a much slower development, so top notes will stay longer. So if you wear perfume on not only your skin, but it also gets on your clothes, whether intentional or not, you're going to keep the top notes for longer. And that's what's happening here. So I can still smell the florals here, but not here. This is nice, but it's not really got that much going on anymore. It's just a very nice sort of sandalwoody scent. And Musicology does have a little bit more going on. Sun Goddess, much more. I smell vanilla, I smell different florals, I can smell a sort of a sandalwood-like base. So if I was to pitch the two together in a battle, at the moment I'm pretty certain Musicology Sun Goddess would win. Okay, then final update. So Moon Glory is all but disappeared now. We're about 6 hours in, 6.5 hours into the wear. And there's just the faintest hint of a slightly woody vanilla left on my wrist. As I said earlier, it's on my clothes, so when I flap my jumper around, I can catch whiffs of it, but it's not projecting at all. In terms of what I think of that, it's not too bad. 6 hours. But the price, I've just found it on my laptop here. It's $336 US for 50 mils. So it's a very pricey fragrance. And sometimes when they're very pricey, you do want a little bit better when it comes to longevity. But it's a personal thing. And it may not be a deciding factor for some people, but it could be quite important to others. So that's my experience with the fragrance. The Musicology one, a Sun Goddess, has performed much better. It's still going on my skin. It's still floral. I can still get the florals, but it's more vanilla. It's quite vanilla-y. Sweet and still a little bit fresh. Maybe a very clean woodsy undertone, like a cedar or something. But that's really, that's it. So in terms of Sun Goddess, I would say that's probably slightly more generic smelling. It's quite close to quite a lot of the beach scents, like Maison Margiela's Beach Walk, Terracotta by Guerlain. It's not identical to either of them. It's a very likable, no sharp edges, no jarring notes, no challenging notes whatsoever. Very pleasant, very pleasing, typical beach scent. I like it very much. I don't need to add it to my collection because I've got Chameleon from Zoologist, which does for me the same thing, and I've got SP Parfums Suntan Glam, which is an edgy, naughty, dirty suntan lotion type scent. Oh, let me give you the notes then. I've got the notes on my laptop off the official website. Jasmine, ylang ylang and lychee, hinoki wood, balsam, sandalwood, queen of the night, passion flower and organic honey. On Fragrantica, one of the people that reviewed it had a much more extensive list of notes. I would recommend, if you're interested in the fragrance, go and have a look. She got them from a leaflet that arrived when she was sent the sample. So they are official from the brand, but they're more than is on their website. And it did include tuberose. So I was right when I kind of said the florals, I felt that there was some tuberose in there, but it's not a mega sort of huge tuberose. It's more like it's part of the exotic floral accord. So that's it really. I did enjoy wearing it, but it hasn't rocked my world, so it's not going on my to buy list. I would suggest, if you're interested in it, definitely get a sample. The website do offer samples, so that's good. You can purchase a sample directly from the website. And then regarding the Musicology one, in my opinion, that I haven't checked the price, but I'm pretty certain they're a lot cheaper. So, and the performance was better, but you don't get the really interesting milky notes. You don't get the really fat, juicy, waxy, oily florals that Moon Glory gives you. So it's a little bit more everyday, sort of fresh, pretty fragrance. That's it then. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.